Hi everyone, I'm gonna try to smile in this video more because someone was like, oh my god, you're always looking angry. Um, but oh my god, I'm comfortable. But anyway, so I'm just going to provide some quick tips for people that identify as demisexual or romantic asexual. Um, because this was a question that was asked to me recently. First of all, I was asked why did I stop identifying as ace and I identify as demi. And I was like, well, because I had a recent experience and I kind of realized that there was a reason why I didn't identify 100% with ace. Um, because I do sometimes think about some sexual stuff when I see someone that I think is aesthetically attractive. The problem is a lot of times these things are can be equated to a handshake in the general community. So, but before I even go into that, um, one of the things that I've noticed what makes it harder for demisexual men is this expectation to be sexually virile. Is that how it's pronounced? I think. So we're expected to be sexual creatures that have to be regulated by females. And when you don't want to have sex, then you're immediately like something's wrong with you, and you're met with such disgrace and shame because you don't want to be sexual. Now, I've explained in previous videos, I first considered, like when I was growing up, I didn't even know what I was. But in my younger years, I was like, okay, maybe I'm bi-romantic or I don't know. Because I don't think about sex with either genders. Like I don't. Um, but I could say, it depends on how long I spend with the person, if I really like them, and if they're aesthetically pleasing to look at, because that is important. As much as we get up every day and we talk about it doesn't matter what a person looks like, yeah, no, I do. There are certain things that I like and I want a partner to have, and but anyway, enough of that. So my advice is if you're a heterosexual female and you identify as a demisexual, it is best to look into pools with guys, like dating pools with guys that automatically have these standards that are similar to yours, which they're looking to wait before jumping in the sack and that kind of stuff. Because what you don't want to do is think that all your accomplishments and everything is going to keep someone's attention. It's not. It may happen, but it's rare. um, and you might want to get into a pool of people where someone doesn't want to lose you. The problem that a lot of people don't understand is that when you give things so easily, it is so easy to let you go because it came easy. If someone spent a lot of time with you and they got too entangled in your lifestyle and now you're doing things together, you're knowing each other, it's risky to lose you because now they've already had an emotional attachment. The problem that a lot of people face that are demisexual, or at least have similar features of a demisexual, is that they are waiting for the emotional attachment. And I kind of realize that now with social media and image-based dating, people, it's more of sex than emotional attachment. And with a demisexual, that is suicide. I'll tell you right now, that's suicide. And especially if you are, I'm not going to talk about lesbians because I don't know. I've never spoken to a lesbian demisexual in my whole life. I do not know. But I've spoken to lots and lots of gay demisexuals. Unfortunately, I didn't really find a lot of them aesthetically attractive, and so that didn't go anywhere. But that is the death. Like, don't ever think that compromising or self-sacrificing, as I like to call it, self-sacrificing your ideals to sleep with someone and hope that because they bought you drink tonight, that means they might be potentially interested in you emotionally. Don't ever do that. I've always said to friends, a desperate man will say anything. The test is with time. So if you keep delaying sex, but you are dating. That's another thing too. You are dating and you're spending a lot of time together with the intent. You have a better chance. Now, do not mistake this for someone that's been pursuing you for years. Um, but they keep putting little sexual innuendos in there. That's totally different. That's another suicide. The moment they at least get to see you without clothes and something happens, brace yourself that they're going to disappear. You're never going to hear from them again. So don't waste your time with that. But what I'm trying to say is you have to learn to filter out the people that are going to waste your time. Learn to be patient. Learn to disconnect. I think I said in one of my previous videos that one of the way I disconnect is when I go on a date. When I come back home, I'll follow up. I may follow up like 3 days later and then I delete their number. What that does, it addresses my natural desire to keep up with them because now I can't reach out to them. And it also shows that, okay, if they never text back or call back, well, guess what? You erase yourself. But being a demi male, it's tough because, as I said, with modern image-based stuff, people see you and they come up with a whole story of what you're like, and 90% of the time it's a sexual one. And even if it's not a sexual one, there are also sexual desires tied to this story. And I've explained in previous videos that I think most people that see me, they think about this really hypersexual person. Farthest from the truth. If I, on my first dates when I've slept over, I cuddle and I fall asleep. That's what I typically do. So, and then of course, the story, I never hear from them again. But anyway, as a demisexual, you have to come up with your own way to navigate the world. As I said, it's not going to be the same for everyone. I'm sure that my experience and a white demisexual man is not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same because he probably has a different dating pool. He probably has certain privileges that I don't. He may be pursued to the wit's end. I may not. I may, as I said, it's not going to be the same. It's not the same for a female. It's similar, but it's not the same. As I said, and another thing I learned too is while other people, especially heterosexuals, well, I won't even say that. That's wrong. I'm sorry. Most people that are not demisexual, it's okay for them to exhibit their bodies as a way to catch attention. We really shouldn't do that. I know it's hard, especially for someone like me that work out a lot and take care of myself. I know it's hard not to when everybody around you is doing it. The fact that I created a Tinder profile and I put a picture up of myself in a suit and I got one match. And then when I put a shirtless picture up, every second person was matching. I know the temptation. I know how hard it is. But you got to think to yourself, do you want one match and then have a conversation? Or do you want a million and constantly end up feeling like a piece of meat that someone just want to bite out of and throw it away? So you got to be careful of that too. You also have to, when you go on dates, treat it very casually. Of course, be punctual, have good conversation, but try not to envision anything. Not saying go there with a negative mindset because that will come out in your attitude. But if you can, have another couple of dates set up. Um, just in case, because as I said, with how modern day dating is, it's very instant. It's a very instant thing. I meet someone, first date should mean we sleep together. If the sex was good, maybe we see each other a second time. Who knows? Let's see where it goes. And as demisexuals, that's not good for us. That's the worst thing because number one, if we even have any kind of intimacy with them, that's going to make our attachment worse. It's going to, because then now we're going to feel this void because we did something we really didn't want to do. just so we could nourish an emotional connection. And now we're being rejected. So now we feel like shit. Don't ever do that. If you really like someone, try to, try to navigate a little bit. Try to get a lot of non-intimate activities, things in common. Maybe you want to go on a little trip, little road trip. Maybe you want, try to get them to see how you get attached. Let them see your love language before you go ahead and jump in bed, because you're going to feel like shit when you've done something out of your comfort zone. You've self-sabotaged. You've done something you really didn't want to do just because you were trying to foster something, and then it doesn't work out. It's only going to make you more bitter. Trust me. So as I said, for females, it's a good idea to pick from dating pools that the guys are not necessarily looking for that. Of course, we're all human. We know what a lot of people are thinking about, but at least get them to get you on the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh date. Instead of being like, first date, okay, second date, we're gonna be intimate. No, because 9 times out of 10, you're the one that's gonna feel like shit, and then you're gonna start questioning your reality, because then other people are gonna be like, well, I mean, it was just a one night stand. What's the big deal? Not realizing that you're demi, and your attachment is a lot different. Your attraction, or what you find attractive, is different, and that whole thing just ruined your world. But as I said, it's a lot worse for men, especially men in the gay community, because you know gay men already have a shit ton of issues when it comes to you know weird feelings about their bodies, and feeling like their primary asset is sex, and being rejected right after, and it's a hot mess. So if you fall under any of that, whether it be the gay, the bi, whatever it is, gender fluid or whatever, if you know you are demisexual, be careful. Do not fall for the pressure. In fact, what I do is, as I said, I delete numbers. I also put it right out there. I put it out there on my profile, and I put it out there when I meet someone. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm more likely not going to see them again, but let me just enjoy the moment. And most of the time, I never see them again, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I just stopped this whole thing about, you know, I like them, so let's. Nope. No, we don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I haven't dated a woman in many, many years, so I don't know what it is like now, but I can remember in my 20s when I dated this one girl, and she would just throw jabs all the time. She's like, I know you don't want me because you don't want to have sex with me. I'm like, that's not how it works. And if I didn't want you, why would I get jealous all the time when you're hanging out with other people? And why would we be? Because we were intimate. I just didn't want to go 100% because something was still missing. Something was still missing. The puzzle wasn't put together, and it was the 100% safety, because I know she was seeing someone else. So I didn't have that safe feeling to be, in order to find her that attracted to have sex. And it's the same thing with dudes. Like, I have not, and it sucks to say this, but in terms of like actual I have not in, so it's like 21, and now I'm 34, because I never get to that phase with anyone where I'm feeling 100% secure. I feel in sync with them. Usually by the time I'm supposed to closely get that, they start complaining about the presence, well, the lack of sex and all that, and then they disappear. Or they'll say early on, like the first date, that I didn't feel. I'm a giver. I care. My love language is pretty much acts of service. Not for me though. That's just for someone else. I don't need no acts of service, but I reassure and I do all that. But it never gets to that, because our modern society has a great emphasis on amazing sex, which is another bullshit, because no matter how amazing it is, it's the same person it will fizzle out eventually, just like any other thing. Your favorite food, if you eat it every day, you're gonna get tired of it. So that's bullshit. um but it never gets there. And now, with what I know now about myself, I know how to navigate when I oh, my battery's dying. When I meet someone, I try to get to know them, but I don't put too much emphasis on it. And I try to put some time in it, have them do stuff with me. Let's go places, let's do social stuff. And if they start complaining and start canceling, then I know that's not the one. If they're always trying to put an effort to plan things and plan social things, then I know that's a good person. Unfortunately, I've not really met any of those. I met them back in the days, not anymore. So anyway, I could go on and on about this because I'm pretty sure all demisexuals are not going to be the same. So I don't know. You can send me a message or you can comment and tell me what your experience has been like. But for now, peace. Gotta go to work.